I had just put my signature on the final contract for my newest venture when my phone lit up with a name I hadn't seen in years. Mom. After 6 years of nothing but silence, her voice shook like she was gripping a secret that might bite if it escaped. "Let's have a family talk," she said. The same woman who vanished on the day I promised myself a new beginning. The same woman who told relatives she was busy that weekend. I drew in a slow breath. I could feel the weight of everything I'd built pressing against the bones of who I used to be. "Fine," I said. "Let's talk." I once believed our family was close-knit. Not warm, exactly, but orderly, predictable. They had expectations, I had achievements. It worked like an even trade. They raised me to be polished, controlled, obedient. And I delivered. When I met my partner, the one person who made me feel grounded, understood, I thought, finally, they'd be proud. I still remember those early evenings in the soft glow of the kitchen lights, my mother's rare smile as she asked polite questions about wedding plans she never planned on attending. I mistook politeness for affection. That was mistake number one. It started small. A pause when I mentioned the venue. A sigh when I showed her my suit. Then the comments. "Are you sure you're ready? Marriage is a big commitment. Maybe don't rush." It didn't feel like concern. It felt like sabotage wearing parental worry as a mask. 1 week before the wedding, Dad stopped answering my messages. Mom couldn't confirm their travel plans. I can still see the bright, echoing ceremony hall, me staring at the entrance, waiting for two familiar silhouettes that never appeared. The officiant asked if I was ready. I nodded. My voice held steady, but something inside closed like a vault. By the time we cut the cake, I already knew, whatever version of family I tried to build with them was gone. I didn't confront them. I didn't plead. I didn't even call to ask why. Instead, I took inventory of what was real. A new marriage. A business idea I'd been too careful to launch. An emotional ledger wiped clean and waiting for new entries. So I rewired myself. Every insult they wrapped as advice became fuel. Every withheld compliment turned into ammunition. Every time they called me too ambitious, too sensitive, too much, blueprints. Their absence sharpened my vision. I built everything slowly, quietly. No announcements. No social media updates. No invitations. I cut loose the old obligations, the emotional debts, the subtle manipulations. I poured that energy into work that actually fed me. A year later, I launched my first company. A year after that, my second. By the fourth year, I stood on a stage accepting an award I once dreamed of telling them about. They never heard a word. I never reached out, but I knew how gossip moves. My name would reach them eventually. And it did. Mom picked a mid-range restaurant, neutral ground. I arrived right on time. They were already seated, both looking older, as if regret had been slowly tightening around them. Mom's smile looked breakable. Dad's eyes held something that came dangerously close to hope. "We've missed you," Mom said, the line practiced too many times. I sat down, hand steady, heartbeat exact. Dad cleared his throat. "We heard about your success." There it was. Not remorse. Not apology. Recognition. They didn't miss me. They missed being near what I'd become. Mom leaned in. "We thought maybe we could start fresh." I studied her like an investor reviewing a pitch that showed up years too late. "You skipped my wedding," I said, calm and even. No anger, just truth laid out like evidence. Mom flinched. Dad stared at the table. "I know," she whispered. "We made a mistake." I shook my head. "No. You made a choice." Silence fell, thick and bruising. Tears gathered in Mom's eyes. Can we be a family again? My laugh was soft. Almost kind, almost. You're asking for access to a version of me you had no part in building. Dad's jaw tightened. You're still my parents, I said. Biologically. Not functionally. They had no response. I stood and placed a signed copy of a scholarship fund I'd created, named after someone who had actually supported me, on the table. This is what family means to me now, I said. Support. Consistency. Presence. I let them read the header, watching their expressions tighten when they realized their names were nowhere on it. This, I added, is the talk you asked for. Then I walked away. When the door closed behind me, there was no sense of triumph, only clarity. I didn't need revenge that burned. I wanted revenge that illuminated. They received exactly what they had given: distance, silence, and a front-row seat to everything I built without them. I stepped into the sunlight feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because they wanted me back, but because I no longer needed them to.